Hey everybody, this is Donna Zadie. I'm a co-owner and co-founder of the Philadelphia School of Massage and Bodywork. And today we have the lovely pleasure of talking with a colleague of ours, Ariel Monroe, who's a licensed massage therapist in our area. And today we're going to get to know about her and what kind of healing love she shares with everybody. So thanks for coming on today, Ariel.
It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and things like that.
So a little bit about where I'm from. I come from Southern New Jersey. I
Mm-hmm.
was raised in Elmer, and I spent 18 years in the same house with my folks and my brother. I grew up down the road from Fine Arts and Music summer camp that my maternal grandparents started in 1960 called Apple Farm. And it was a big foundation for me of becoming socialized and getting to know people from all over the world, different walks of life, and different backgrounds, different religions, different belief systems, and just different ways of being and expressing themselves. And so I am very grateful for coming from that and having that kind of a backdrop for helping me as in my very early life, I was traumatized in a couple different ways, sexually and mentally. And it took me a lot of years of getting support from my home, from my family, and from people from Apple Farm to say, it kind of introduced me to empathy and how to handle emotions,
Mm.
because a lot of things in life happen that we don't ask for, that we're not looking for, but then we have to figure out how to react
So
and
true.
how to respond, and mentally how to figure out how to carry the weight and get help when we need it. So
Yeah.
that was a very natural and normal. When I was a kid at camp, I would be asked to help kids who were homesick, people who were like, they had their minds focused on things that were upsetting in a place that they wanted to be but couldn't be. They were thinking about friends that they didn't have access to right now. And so I would sit with them and understand that it is hard and it is sad to be away and to have things turn up in a way that isn't really what we'd like, but then we can kind of choose how to react and kind of get over it and find a different thing to place our attention on and
Mm-hmm.
have fun, be present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some great
So
training early on.
yeah, but it took me 27 years going from Elmer, and goodness, I studied abroad in England when I was in college, and I lived in Las Vegas for a couple years as a young adult,
Neat.
and just got lots of moving around and global experience of what are people doing, how are people moving their bodies and living, and what are people
Mm.
eating, and how are people
Yeah.
moving around and just being.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Made me
So,
really passionate about body work.
okay. Yeah, that was going to be one
And
of my questions. So, you do massage. So, how did you find massage? Uh,
so massage really found me. I got started when I was 12. My godmother had a lot of pain, and she would just say, do whatever you feel like. Watch TV for an hour and you can rub my back, you can rub my feet, you can try the rolling pin, you can try the hairbrush, if you want to use your knees or your forearms. And so I got really good at like sitting on people and pushing on them and just
mhm.
asking. asking the questions. Does that feel good? Would you like more or less? Is that helping? Would you like me to keep going?
That's great.
And then when I was 19, I was engaged, got unengaged, but I was engaged to a guy who took me to the Borgata. And we had the most wonderful couples massage that during that massage, there was a move that happened while I was on my back face up, and hands came right under my back, right next to my spine and up to my head, and everything just kind of melted and was heavenly. And I thought to myself, if I can make people feel like that for the rest of my life, I'm good.
Yeah.
How can I make people feel like that?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
And then in 2010, when I went to Vegas, I really had in mind that I wanted to go to massage school. I had it on my to-do list that this is going to get this done. So I found Cortiva in Las Vegas.
Oh.
And when I walked into the building, it just felt like home. I felt like the walls and the people cared, and that the establishment was looking for people to train people who really were gonna be passionate about helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a teaser about working on a cruise ship, and I thought, oh man, massage on a cruise ship? Okay. Where do I sign? But the universe just wasn't aligned at that time, and it took a few more years of moving around, moving back to New Jersey to help my family, be with my parents. And then when I was 27, I fell. There was an accident at my job, and I was more concerned with moving beer than hurting my foot.
Yeah.
And it just struck me. If I don't do something that's for me, that's going to take care of myself while I'm trying to earn a living, then I'm not doing it right. So I gotta get to the thing. So I found Cortiva again in King of Prussia, and that was one of the best decisions of my life.
That's amazing. Oh, so you didn't go in Las Vegas.
No.
Things just shifted and you studied it out here. Okay, cool. So it's only been 5 years.
It's only been 5 years that I've been certified, licensed, and insured.
You're such a wise therapist for only being licensed for 5 years.
Well, thank you. But I give a lot of thanks to intuition and to the passion of learning. When I got to Cortiva, I've never done anything by the books. Nothing in my life. People say do this and I do that. March to this and I'm like, nope, I got my drum and I'm all about my drum, and there are going to be people who are loving my drum. So here we go.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So what kind of... Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where were we?
So you studied out here 5 years.
Yes, at going to school at Cortiva. As soon as I graduated, it was a sensation like I'm going to miss this place more than I can stand. And so I looked into immediately if there was a way, if there was a role or a job where I could work for the school. And it worked great because when I was in massage school, okay, I got my lost thought. I dropped out of high school. I didn't finish high school. So I was really afraid of the science of biology and chemistry that I didn't get, which is silly because the stuff that we need to know as massage therapists is specific about the body, and it is important to understand what's going on a cellular level, I think. But that let me, I was helping the students who were in my class as I was going through the program. So I would really was understanding, and teaching was the beginning of that. It helped me know that I knew the stuff that I could be helping people who didn't understand.
Got it.
And that to me is like, oh, wow. people who don't do teach. No. People who understand really well and want to make a global impact, they teach.
Yeah.
So I ran with that. And when I graduated, there was a girl who was going to be coming to Cortiva who was blind. And so Marissa German, who was the president of Cortiva, she asked me if I was interested in working with this student. And I jumped at it. I was out of my mind excited to teach somebody literally hands on, to go through all of the anatomy, physiology, pathology, kinesiology. Here's the medical terminology, and let's do it with our bodies. I'm going to show you, we're going to point and we're going to move it. What is this action and what is it doing? And what does a structure look like and feel like when it's relaxed? When tone and tension is not super tight and constricted because of how we live. So it's thinking about the application that we do on the table and then turning it into words for somebody who can't see.
Yeah. We were actually challenged with somebody like that this past year. And yeah, it was definitely a huge learning curve for the instructors. But I'd like to talk more about that with you in private.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Cool.
It's really cool. And there's a lot of just innovation.
Yeah, you really have to stretch yourself. You really have to stretch yourself. And I'm not speaking from the experience. I'm listening to the teachers express this,
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. So what kind of massage do you do? Like how would you describe your session? Like what can somebody expect or get out of it? Or
the kind of massage that I do, I call it intuitive. The goal is and it's holistic, because my goal is to get to the source of what the problem is and help people correct the source. So every single session is different because every body is different, every nervous system, and every just the walk that everybody walks is different. And then the load that everybody can handle is different. So we'll go ahead and say that people we'll give it the space. People who are underprivileged and people who are not the dominant in society carry more. People who have trauma and experiences that are less than pleasant carry stuff. And then, this is neat. So I was just thinking about tensegrity, tensional integrity of what goes on in our bodies. So we have this, we're kind of like a bridge. If one thing snaps, the whole thing doesn't fall down. Things just kind of shift. So tensegrity also exists in society. How we as people carry weight and energy and take on certain things and roles. There's tension. And right now, in time and space, there's so much that's out of whack, that's energetically processing. So lots of people are going through things and need attention. Most people, the platform of my business and my approach is that every single person with a body can use massage. Every single person with a body can benefit from meditation and mindfulness. And the more that we're educated and aware of what's going on inside of us and what other people are going through, it makes it that much easier to get over the stuff and help.
Yeah.
So the sessions, my sessions are what people need. It's honing in and listening to, like, do you really need deep tissue? Do you really need myofascial stretching? Do you need to be side lying and have the pressure taken off of your hips? Do you need to have your neck extended? Like, there's so much little things that is like, I would never just say, you know, I give a Swedish massage.
Right.
I can do whatever my education allows. Thank God.
Yes. That's a good answer. But so you've obviously taught, you do massage, but you do other types of modalities.
I do, yes.
What are those?
So my first and foremost that gets me at my core and that just makes my heart sing these days is singing bowl sound bath. It's incredible how soothing and powerful it is, because our bodies are mostly water. And when we listen to music and when we hear tones that are harmonizing, it changes the frequency inside of us. So I practice a lot for myself. I also am recording. I make happy birthday sound baths. It's $5. People can buy it for themselves. People can give it as gifts. And it's just a creative, fun, hey, this is different and probably you've never gotten this. So
that's great.
Happy birthday sound bath.
I like it.
Thank you. And Reiki.
Okay.
I've always done Reiki, but lately distance Reiki has been what's up. And it is energy. Like our life force exists, and like everything that exists has vibration. It has a frequency and a tone. And so when we focus on things and when we think about things, it changes vibrations. And Reiki is simply, it's loving light that its pure purpose is to heal. Yeah. I discovered it for myself as a child. Didn't even realize that I was doing it. And it just happened more and more over years, kind of turned into a party, like, woo, like, what is that? Why does that feel so good? Why are your hands so hot? What is that? And like, my hands have just always gotten immensely hot when I think about people, when I think about things, when I think about events, when I think about the things that are going to happen, creating energy, and the future is it's intentional. So when we tune into that high vibration frequency, that's like, man, this is love and light and possibility, and just like, but we got to keep it going, because it's easy to get drawn into stuff that's dark and low, but it's a great tool. I love Reiki.
Yeah. I'm excited listening to you talk.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it.
So I know you're an entrepreneur and you have a business. Have you always been an entrepreneur for yourself, or have you worked in places?
I have always been an entrepreneur. Always. I've always been a hustler, a go-getter. I just love sharing things that work. I love finding the things that work for me and then telling people how it worked for me. Like, my very favorite essential oil company is Simply Earth.
Okay.
I love representing them because the stuff is really good quality.
Mm-hmm.
They give back 13% of their proceeds, of their profits, to end human trafficking.
That's great.
So they're a company with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing about energy. I love putting my hard-earned energy into companies and people with purpose.
Mm.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of your business?
Delta. It's Delta EM Wellness. And
How did you come to that name?
So Delta is all about its change. Delta is Greek for change. And I realized that life is constantly change, that as soon as inception to the end, we're constantly in flux and growing and changing. So I took Delta and then my initials.
Got it.
And it happened while I was writing my notes to change the due date for a bill, and I made that little delta, and I was like, ooh, I like that. That feels like me. I was like, Delta is me. I am change. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
So that's where
Great.
it was. That's where it was birthed from.
I love when a business name is personal. You know.
Yeah. I liked that about business class in school, about thinking about how you can name something that gives a little bit of information, maybe a little bit piques curiosity and makes people think like, oh, okay, well, I see wellness and I see some things in there that I don't really know. So let me look a little further.
Yeah. Cool. So who might be your typical clients? Do you have a certain type of client or?
So one of the things that I'm shifting into is law of attraction coaching. And that was one of the things that just kind of naturally came out of this time, was that I realized that each of the steps that I've taken for myself, I wrote them down. I thought about them. I took intentful action for making the things happen. And once when COVID happened, I stopped massaging and haven't since March 12th. So I had to get creative of how can I still do work and be productive and make a difference. And so it made a lot of sense to me to create a course that is showing people how to apply law of attraction for themselves. So I'm in the process of doing that. I just completed Ariel's Positive Approach. It works. And it's on YouTube. And it lays out each of the steps that I did, and I intend to turn it into a course so that I can work one-on-one with people to encourage, hold their hand, show them the steps. And it's just time to be creative now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
As much as there are some negative things about, shut down and quarantine, there have been some really beautiful things to come out of it. Gave us time to be creative and slow down and just get in touch with where we are and what we really want, right?
I had been spending way too much time and energy with massage. I loved of chair massage in my own thing for a few years, and it was too much. So having the opportunity, being forced into a space that was really uncomfortable, but invited how to react. I found depression for the first time in my life, and I don't normally struggle with mental health so much, but this is strange. This is really different, and it's I mean, thinking I don't know what most people are talking about in their homes, but I've been thinking about the bubonic plague and like time of the Renaissance, and people survived and people thrived, and they made incredible art that changed the world for all time. So we can sit and focus on what absolutely sucks, or we can use it to push. It's like being birthed. Giving birth isn't comfortable. Growing isn't comfortable, but it can be a really fun adventure.
That's awesome.
like the get to know yourself game.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey.
Yes, indeed. Somebody watching wants to know the name of the YouTube post. What's it called again?
So you can just do a YouTube search for Ariel's positive approach.
Okay.
Or 21-day law of attraction challenge.
And I'll put it in the comments a little later.
Awesome, thank you.
But that sounds really exciting. I'm gonna search that out and look for it.
Cool.
So, you know, as a therapist, we have to take continuing education classes to keep our license current and keep us knowledgeable. So what classes have you taken that you really enjoy?
The first is with Dave Teich. He is a Reiki master, and I swore that I'd never work at a franchise. But when I walked into Hand and Stone in King of Prussia, and he was sitting behind the front desk smiling at me, not only did I take the job at Hand and Stone, I wound up living in his apartment on his couch for a short time at the end of my schooling, because the universe and what it does, oh goodness. But I wound up training with him in Reiki 1 and Reiki 2. I had him train my parents in Reiki.
How cool.
And then I've done a ton of continuing education with Ed Portley Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone on 3 continuing education cruises.
Oh, very nice.
Went to
I bet you had a blast doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, if you have to do continuing education, why not make it fun? Why not make it a good time? And then I also, because I'm an overachiever, ABMP they're my insurance provider, and they have a large caveat of classes, CEU classes that you can take just through their portal online. And I've taken advantage of a ton of chair massage, deep tissue, ashiatsu, reflexology, lomi, all sorts of self-care for massage therapists.
That's nice. Yeah. That's cool.
So I love learning.
Yeah, that's great. So, well, we sort of touched upon what has changed with COVID.
Yeah.
What are some precautions that you'll take moving forward when you start taking clients again?
So I work with a number of immunocompromised people, and I am extraordinarily cautious when it comes to their health and wellness. Everyone, but especially them. And so I will return slowly and using caution. And really doing like 1 or 2 massages a week. I've done a combination of working out of my home and delivering massage to people's homes. So I want to make sure that space is clean and clear.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
I have in the works in my brainstorming mind of doing something like mobile massage, finding
Mm-hmm.
a van or
Mm-hmm.
an SUV, something that can be converted into a healing space that's portable.
That's nice. Yeah. We've thought about that too.
For consideration.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if there's anything else you'd like to add, we could conclude our chat.
I would just say that seize the day. I offer that everybody, it's an invitation to carpe diem. And we'll be like Robin Williams as he was the teacher in
Right.
in that most excellent movie.
Dead Poet Society.
Yes, Dead Poet Society. But just every moment that we can, squeeze the goodness, the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely.
Thank you.